Women, what is a near universal ick in the dating world? Poor hygiene, dirty clothes, bad breath, greasy hair, and acting like basic cleanliness does not matter. If someone cannot do simple self-care, I lose attraction fast. It feels disrespectful. It also feels unsafe. It is not about being perfect. It is about showing effort, clean body, clean hands, clean teeth, clean space. That is the bare minimum. I once used a dating website during summer. I met a man for coffee. He seemed polite in messages. When we met on the sidewalk, I leaned in for a simple hello hug. He pulled me in and kissed me without permission. It was an instant turn-off. It felt sloppy and unpleasant. I still sat down for coffee because I did not feel in danger. The conversation was boring. I already knew I would not see him again. At the end, he asked to walk me to my car. I said no, thank you. He looked irritated. He asked to kiss me again. I said no. He asked why. I said we had no chemistry. Then he asked for a kiss on the cheek. I agreed, trying to be polite. He grabbed my face and licked my cheek. I stepped back and left right away. Later, I sent a polite message and ended it. After that, I met someone else online. I almost canceled because I was nervous. I'm glad I did not. He became my husband years later. I saw someone explain this well. Some men neglect basic personal hygiene. They do not wash properly. They do not wash their hands. They wear dirty clothes. They skip simple grooming. Some even act proud about it. They say self-care is not masculine. They treat basic cleanliness like it is optional. Then they expect their partner to look perfect. They want flawless hair, skin, and makeup. They want constant attractiveness, but they do not bring the same effort. That imbalance is a massive ick. It can even cause health problems for their partner. It keeps coming up in stories from women because it is that common. It is not just unpleasant, it can cause irritation and infections for their partner. If you care about someone, you show basic respect. Trying to turn the conversation sexual way too early, before trust exists, before we even meet. If you cannot talk like a normal person, it feels creepy. It makes me think you do not care about me. You only want a body. When they ask no questions about you. When they do not show curiosity. They talk the entire time. They do not pause. They do not listen. It feels like you're trapped in a 1-hour podcast. There is only one guest, and it is them. I dated a man for a few dates. Then I went home for about a week to see family and celebrate milestones. When I got back, we met for dinner. I waited for him to ask even one question about my trip. He did not. Not a single question. He talked about himself through the whole meal. I kept giving him openings. I mentioned my trip. I mentioned my family. He still did not ask anything. What made it worse is that he acted like he was falling in love with me. It gave me the ick. It felt like he did not know me at all. He was in love with a fantasy version of me. This has happened more than once. Some people want a relationship, but they do not want to learn who you are. A friend of mine met a man from online dating. He suggested a local ice cream shop. She liked it because it felt low pressure. It was a break from endless coffee dates. He arrived and looked very different from his photos. He was balding. He was heavier by about 30 pounds. He also claimed he was 5 feet 11 inches tall. In person, he was closer to 5 feet 5 inches. She still stayed. It was just ice cream. She ordered a banana split. He ordered a cone. The total was about $7. He offered to pay. His card declined. She paid instead and did not make a scene. Then it got strange. He licked his ice cream in an exaggerated way. He made moaning sounds. He held intense eye contact the whole time. She tried to reset the vibe with normal questions. She asked what he did for fun. He proudly said he made balloon animal bouquets for Valentine's Day. He pulled out his phone and showed photos. She said it was creative. Then she asked what he did for work. He suddenly got angry. He said she was not listening. He said the date was a waste. He started insulting her. He said she did not look like her photos. Even though she did, he complained that she dressed more modestly than some pictures. He acted like his ice cream licking was flirting. He blamed her for his card declining because her dessert was too expensive. That made no sense. She left immediately. A couple of weeks later, he sent her a balloon bouquet and asked for another date. That was his real job. He sold balloon bouquets online. He also lived with his parents. He was 36. Being contrarian about everything, no matter what you say, they argue, you share an opinion, they disagree on reflex. You share a story, they try to prove you wrong. They call it being logical. It is not, it is attention seeking. It drains the energy out of the room. This thread is only a few hours old. I just need to vent. I work in retail. We have curbside pickup parking spots. Each spot has a sign with a special phone number. That number tells our system which spot the customer is in. One customer ignored the sign and called the main store number instead. When that happens, the pickup details do not connect properly. We cannot see the order information on our screens. A coworker answered the call and spoke to the customer. Then he called it out on the radio. He said a man was waiting outside for his items. The problem is that he did not pass along the key details. The customer actually gave his name and what he was picking up. My coworker left that out. This coworker has a habit of sharing information only when he thinks it matters. He decides for you, and he often guesses wrong. People picking up orders the wrong way is not rare. So I asked him again. I asked if he had a name and an item. He said no. At that point, I had no way to find the order quickly. So I walked outside to ask the customer directly. It was the fastest way to fix it. He sat in one of the pickup spots in a dark truck. He stared at me for a few seconds before he rolled down the window. I politely said we did not have his order information. I asked for his name and the item. He looked at me like I was ridiculous. Then he answered. As I walked back inside to grab the order, another employee came out with it. That is when it clicked. The customer had given his details on the phone. My coworker just did not share them with me. He gave the details to the next person who asked. So the order came out, but I was left looking clueless. It felt like a game. The customer acted smug, like I was incompetent. But he was the one who called the wrong number and created the problem. That kind of condescension is a major ick. The same goes for coworkers who withhold details and create chaos. In the first couple of dates, pushing to meet in private is a huge red flag. Some people act offended by a public plan. They insist you come over. They insist on picking you up. They push to come to your place. If someone cannot respect a simple safety boundary, I do not trust them. A good person will make it easy for you to feel safe. One man asked me to go camping with him and his friends for a first date. That felt like an instant red flag. It was not even just a quiet hike. It was an overnight trip with strangers. He acted like it was normal. Another man found out the area where I lived. He immediately tried to plan a whole weekend at my home. He wanted to bike during the day and stay with me at night. I told him I was not looking for casual intimacy. I had just moved and I barely had furniture. I only had an air mattress. I was also sick. He kept pushing and teasing me. He would not accept no, so I blocked him. On a second date, we did small talk about the trip there. I said I lived close by. A few minutes later, he deliberately locked his keys inside his car. I could see him do it in the reflection of a coffee machine. He tossed the keys onto the seat and shut the door. Then he turned to me and joked that he had to come back to my place now. Like it was cute, like it was clever. He even smiled like I would agree. I smiled and said no. I told him he should call a tow truck or a locksmith. I said I hoped the repair would not cost too much. He tried again. He asked if I would take him home while he waited, because it was cold. He acted like I was heartless for saying no. I told him there was a coffee machine nearby to keep him warm. Then I left. On the first date, he also joked that he would move to Antarctica if it did not work out. It did not work out. He actually moved there later for a research program. A lot of young men do not have good role models for dating. They do not learn basic safety and respect. Years ago, this was simpler. If you did not already know a woman, you planned a public date. If it went well and she invited you somewhere private, that was her choice. If it did not go well, you both went home and that was fine. Now, some men act like a public plan is an insult. They forget that safety comes first. Back then, the internet was smaller. There were not endless forums telling you how to date. There were not countless videos teaching pickup tricks. You learned from real conversations. Men also talked to other men in real life. Friends would share what worked and what failed. I remember sitting in a parked car with my best friend. We talked about the women we were dating. We admitted the dumb things we said. We warned each other not to repeat those mistakes. Sometimes we would just sit there for 2 hours, passing time before plans started. We had nothing better to do, and we just talked. I miss that kind of honest friendship and guidance. I have a story about this. I used to be very selective with dating. I would meet first dates in a coffee shop. It was my quick safety check. I walked in and spotted my date right away. His nervous energy filled the room. We sat down before I even got comfortable. He said he did not know why women did not like him. That was his introduction. In my head, I thought, you're sitting with a woman right now. Maybe you should try being curious instead of complaining. I did not say it out loud. About 6 minutes later, I used an emergency excuse and left. I said my friend needed me at a doctor visit. It was a clean escape. I'm a man in my 30s. At work and in hobbies, I hear this too often. Some men make forced act jokes. Other men laugh and excuse it. They say he just has no filter. I reported a coworker after an office party. He joked about getting our new supervisor intoxicated. He wanted her to go home with him. An investigation happened. Women at work said he did this a lot. He was fired. After that, the other men turned on me. They said I ruined his life because he had children. They made the workplace hostile. I eventually had to find a new job. It is wild. Some men will do anything except reflect and grow.